Hey everybody, June 7th, 2024 will be a date that will live on forever as being the last episode of Wheel of Fortune to feature host Pat Sajak. And, it's going to be a sad time for all of us fans who really love watching Wheel of Fortune. For him to step down after 41 seasons on syndication, and then quite a few years after, or quite a few years as well on when it was on network TV in the daytime. And it is something that will be missed. And, you know, I just want to say that there's been a couple of times I was able to see Wheel of Fortune being taped, and it was a great time. And one of those times was back in 2008 when I was doing my Disney College program in Orlando, and they had the taping going on at SeaWorld. So, and then I even tried out for the show too. I wasn't selected, unfortunately, but it was something that, you know, it is, is, it was a wonderful experience to check it out. And I even brought my roommate from Brazil to it. So it was great to see have an international flavor to that, you know. And then the next time I was able to go see them being taped was on October 10th, 2017 at Disney. And here's an interesting story on that. I was able to go, or I was coming home from Atlanta. I stopped south of Macon, and I got on my email, and there was an email from Wheel of Fortune that said, "Oh, they have tickets available. They are taping shows at Epcot. Make sure you reserve." And I was like, "Oh my goodness, I have to reserve this now." So while I was on the road in Macon, Georgia, I did that. I made sure I got tickets to go see taping of Wheel of Fortune. So I did that. And what made the October 10th taping special in 2017, other than that story, was the fact that I had the chance to go and be witness to three episodes being taped. I had the chance to meet Jim Thornton and asked him a question about Wheel of Fortune that he knew so well, and I'm thankful for him. Also, what made it special was, you know, it was a small area where the audience gathered, and it was grandparent grandchild week on Wheel of Fortune. So, you know, and unfortunately, on November 15th, 2017, that episode featured the grandparent and grandchild who went to the bonus round with the $1 million wedge, and they missed the puzzle and they lost out on the $1 million prize. Felt bad for them. That was that was the one sad part about the whole taping. However, there was a time at that taping that they were doing a closing, and a Disney cast member came up to them, and he handed both Pat and Vanna an ornament to each of them. And I was able to get a picture of that. And that is a remarkable picture. I think that was my favorite picture I took of Pat Sajak during my time of seeing him and all that. Because you have that, you had you had the monorail in the background, and then you also have Spaceship Earth in the background as well, glowing. So right there was the perfect picture opportunity. And I was so glad I had the chance to take that photo from my seat when they were doing the taping of it. I don't think they were taping the segment at the moment when I took the picture, but it was a wonderful picture. It came out great. Now, on November 17th, 2017, that episode, two things happened. First, I was able to meet Logan. He was a contestant. His grandmother and him went on the show. He was in a wheelchair, and I learned about this pretty impressive guy. And I'm still Facebook friends with him to this day, and able to connect with him on Facebook was incredible. And it was so amazing to meet this wonderful individual and talk with him. And then after the show and all that, because I'm an individual with autism. I'm a self advocate with autism, and it's like I got to meet him and had the chance to meet him and say thank you for going on the show and all that, because it's a great way to feature people with disabilities on the show. You got to feature people like that, you know, because we all love Wheel of Fortune. We all loved being on it. It's like, Second, about that episode, when the winning team went to the bonus round and they were introducing their family that they brought with them, I was able to see myself on national TV. So that was pretty cool to do that. And to know that, oh, I'm on TV. Or I may be on TV. That quick second that I was on TV was pretty impressive. National TV, I should say, because the fact is, this show is national. So it's like, oh my goodness, I saw myself on TV. And then I couldn't believe it. It was like I saw when the YouTube video came out of that episode, I was like, oh, I have to screenshot that photo because I needed to save it. Or, take a picture of it so I could save it and point out to people, hey, I was on Wheel of Fortune. Did you know that? It was pretty cool. Not a lot of people noticed it, and then I had to show them the picture to tell them, oh, look right there. Can you recognize that person? So it was pretty cool that I was able to see myself on TV for that quick second on that episode. But anyways, in addition to seeing those two tapings of Wheel of Fortune, I also had the chance to see Pat Sajak present at the Candlelight Processional twice. Um, Once was 2 months after the taping in 2017 of Wheel of Fortune, and then the second time was 2019. And the 2019 one was about when he was feeling sick and he had to take time off from the show to recover, and Vanna was hosting. So it was like around that same time that Pat was doing Candlelight Processional and was talking about it and all that. And I can tell you right now, when I went to Candlelight Processional and see the people narrate the story, the true story about Christmas, they add their own touches and style to it. Pat Sajak was one of those people that did that, and he did a wonderful job. I was like, when I saw that Pat Sajak was going to be doing it, I was like, I needed to be on, I needed to be at the park, I needed to be in line to be in the audience so I could see him. And I was able to take a few pictures of him up on stage. So, I mean, that is something else that I will always remember Pat Sajak for. So, I mean, we got to thank him for all that he has done for the show. And I know that there probably won't be a dry eye in the house when the episode airs on June 7th. But I know that we all knew it was coming, and that time unfortunately is coming up. So, but you know, even though I never had the chance to be a contestant on Wheel of Fortune, I had the chance to see it being taped, and I had the chance of being in the audience and being featured on TV for a split second in the audience, in the background. So that was pretty cool to know that. Pretty cool to meet Jim Thornton. Pretty cool to ask him a question about the show. And it is pretty cool that, you know, seeing Wheel of Fortune and seeing Wheel of Fortune taped was something incredible because you get to learn about the show from behind the scenes, per se, when you're at the studio or at the stage or whatever, or in Epcot's case, being there and building this stage in middle of International Gateway, you know. But it was pretty cool that I was able to see Wheel of Fortune twice with the Disney one at Epcot being my favorite, and then going to see him do Candlelight Processional for 2 out of the 3 years as well. So, in 2017, I saw him 2 out of 3 times because of the taping of Wheel of Fortune in October for the episodes in November, and then in December for the Candlelight Processional, and then 2 out of 3 years seeing him do Candlelight Processional 2017 and then 2019. So it is something that I will always cherish those moments, and I will always remember where I was when those memories happened. So I want to thank Pat Sajak for all he has done in the community, on TV, and everywhere else, and to make the fans feel like they were home, like they were happy, to make sure that they had a great time watching his episodes on the TV. So that is something that I will always cherish and always will know about Pat Sajak. And his style and his unique is one of a kind. He has earned his place as being like the guy who hosted Wheel of Fortune and probably the longest tenured host of a game show. I don't think anyone else will ever beat Pat Sajak's amount of time and record. 41 years on syndicated television was incredible. And then a few years on daytime network television was pretty incredible. All started back on December 28th, 1981, when Chuck Woolery decided to step down on Christmas of 1981, and Pat Sajak became the host on December 28th, 1981. And then a year later, in 1982, Vanna White became the hostess. So, and then 1983 was when they had the syndicated version on, started that, and it's been on ever since. So, for the longest time growing up, every night at 7 o'clock, my TV was on Wheel of Fortune, no matter what I was doing, whether I was camping or home or wherever else. If it was 7 o'clock, it was time for Wheel of Fortune, and that's where I was. So I do want to thank Pat Sajak for all the memories that he has done, and thank him for all that he has shared with Wheel of Fortune and with the TV community. It is something that, we're all going to miss him. And if he's watching this, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for keeping me entertained. And also, I think Wheel of Fortune helped me out growing up because you got to learn new words, you got to learn where the letters go. You got to think of it as a puzzle. Where does this letter go? Where does this letter go? It's like that with autism as well. So, you know, me relating that to autism right now is incredible. And thank you so much for all you have done. and you will be missed. And oh yeah, Pat Sajak, I mailed you a few photos that I have taken when I was at the taping back in 2017 and at the Candlelight Processional in 2019. And I also put a letter in there thanking you as well. So make sure you get it. I sent it over to the studio, so you should be able to get it. If you don't get it personally, I'm sure your daughter will bring it to you. So make sure you do enjoy it. And thank you so much for the memories. Thank you so much for all you have done for Wheel of Fortune. And may you enjoy the next chapter in your life. And we'll miss you on Wheel of Fortune, but I know that you will always be the number one game show host in the world. So thank you so much for all you have done.